becoming an international threat. Remember, Indians even in Australia and Canada have been facing the Khalistani threat, and in the latest breaking inputs we are bringing to you, according to Australian media, Consulate of India that is located in Brisbane was targeted by Khalistan supporters on 21st of February. This incident happened at night, and remember, this is not a one-off incident taking place in Australia of late. Right from the start of 2023, every week practically we've been seeing cases taking place where either temples or people have been targeted by Khalistan supporters. Establishments and temples have been in fact sprayed with anti-Hinduism graffiti as well, and this is not just happening in Australia but in Canada as well. For more details, let me quickly go across to our international news correspondent Abhishek Jha, who is joining me live on this news story. Abhishek, if you could take us through the details, how serious was this situation?
Clearly, it's a breach of security, if we can say, because the Indian Consul General Archana Singh in Brisbane, when she reached at the office on the 22nd of morning, then she found those flags and some evidences which were threatening in nature, and she immediately contacted the local Queensland police who came and they confiscated all these flags and other materials, and they also swept the whole building, whole premise to ensure that there is no incriminating evidence or other threat that can impact the Indian Council. But Akanksha, to have a bigger perspective on this whole Khalistani movement, we have to look back in the last few months development that has been happening in Canada, in Australia especially, why Khalistani movement is finding some ground, why these extremist groups are trying to gather momentum in these countries, because there is a huge potential for them because of the large number of diaspora. About more than 2 lakh of Indian diaspora and Punjabis live in Australia, and the region we have seen recently not only this Indian Consul General but also attacks happening on Indian community centers, temples, and systematically trying to incite acrimony among the community members, and probably this is the way they want to pursue their cause or their extremist ideology, so that to create a rift between the social harmony and then to pursue their ideologies.
And in fact, Abhishek, the timing of this entire incident and this news story is standing out, because remember, just a few minutes ago I was discussing with my guests and my correspondent Anshul with regards to the security situation in the state of Punjab, where we've been seeing the revival of the Khalistani movement. Having said that, the Union Home Ministry in India has time and again been highlighting not just the Home Ministry but in fact the MEA as well has spoken about it, how there's foreign funding being involved to sort of instigate this kind of movement, not just within the state of Punjab but in countries like Australia and Canada as well.
In fact, Akanksha, there has been reports and there has been systematic evidence collected by various of agencies of Indian government that how Pakistan, its military intelligence agencies, they have been behind this organized setup of Khalistan, creating kind of anti-India sentiment across the world, especially among Punjabi and Sikh community who have migrated from India in the last several decades, and they are trying to lure them by money, by radicalizing them, and trying to create a force that is against India outside India, and their role has been established in the past also. In fact, ISI and its agencies have recently tried to lure.
Yeah. Right. Abhishek, I'm in fact sorry to interrupt you, because I'm also joined in by Mr. RP Singh of the BJP, who's joining me on the phone line. Mr. Singh, on a day when we've been addressing the Khalistan threat in the state of Punjab, we get this news of the Indian Consulate in Brisbane being attacked by Khalistani supporters. Having said that, I've already highlighted this is not a one-off incident. What do you make of this growing threat all over the world, especially for Indians?
Well, you rightly said it's happening all over the world, especially in UK, in Canada,
yes,
in Australia, and it's all synchronized with what's happening here in India. Objective is to create disharmony among the Hindus and Sikhs here, which is not possible, but they are trying their best. And yes, they are funded by ISI, there's no doubt in. ISI has a K2 policy, Kashmir and Khalistan put together, since Kashmir is low on their agenda right now because Kashmir is much better than what it was some 5-6 years back. So they have started pushing Khalistan, the other part of the K2, the Khalistan agenda now. And then in this, they vandalize temples outside, they some 5, 10 people, 20 people go to the Indian embassies and chant Khalistan slogans. But fact is that there is
But Mr.
nothing
Singh,
on ground.
but Mr. Singh, when it comes to these attacks that we are seeing take place internationally, whether it is Australia and UK, as you rightly mentioned, even Canada, is it also because there's not been a message being delivered by the Indian government which is perhaps stringent enough?
Well, Indian government has very sent categorical messages to all countries where these elements are, that they need to be harsh on them, they need to take action against them. Otherwise, it's going to come back to them only.
But clearly, that message is not is falling on deaf ears.
Well, it's a foreign land. I mean, let's understand, it's a foreign land. We can only make requests to them. We can only push our point of view, but we can't force them to do what we want them to do. So, MEA is doing their best to ensure to make them aware of the situation and tell them how it is ultimately going to be a problem for them also.
All right, Mr. Singh, I'm going to request you to continue staying with me. I'm also joined in by Mr. KP Fabian, who's a former diplomat. Mr. Fabian, if I could bring you in on this. This time, it's an attack on the Indian Consulate by Khalistani supporters. I was just discussing how India has been very strict and stringent in delivering its message when it comes to the security of Indians abroad. But clearly, not much is being done about it, whether it is especially countries like Australia and Canada.
Well, anyway, when I was acting High Commissioner in Canada, the Khalistanis had attacked me. So that was in 1983, 84. Now, the basic thing is, it is the responsibility of the government of Canada to make sure that all diplomats accredited to Canada, including Indian diplomats, are safe. And
right.
And I'm sure that our government would have insisted that Canada discharges its obligations in this regard.
And let's not forget, it's not a one-off incident, and enough is enough. India has been witnessing such anti-Hindu, pro-Khalistan incidents where, you know, there's anti-graffiti being sprayed. Indians carrying flags in Melbourne just a few weeks ago were attacked. So these are not ordinary incidents.
Well, as I said, you know, this has to be taken up strongly with the Canadian government in a manner which delivers the results.
I want you to highlight on the need for a unified international response on the Khalistani threat, because we are talking about this on a day when just minutes ago I have spoken about the Khalistani revival in this state of Punjab as well in India.
Well, I don't think we can expect an international response on this because many countries will take the line, right or wrong, that it is a matter for India and let India deal with it.
No, but that I agree with you. When it comes to our own internal matters, we will. But I'm talking about a unified international response when it comes to the global Khalistani threat, taking into consideration countries like Canada, Australia and the UK.
Well, my point is that, you know, if something is happening in, say, Canada, well, most countries will take the line. It is for Canada and India to sort it out. Nicaragua and Mexico and Uganda are not going to get involved. I'm only naming some countries, randomly.
Fair enough. But if we are talking about the countries which are seeing that threat as far as Indians in those countries are concerned, what about those countries taken into account?
No. They have a responsibility and they have to act. And we should insist that they should act.
All right. Many